Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. This is the big one. Shakur Stevenson is moving up in weight to take on Teofimo Lopez in New York. It's not just a battle for belts, it's a collision of two of the most technically gifted yet polarizing fighters in American boxing. Shakur Stevenson, the boring myth versus the micromaster. When you talk about Stevenson, 24-0, 11 KOs, you have to address the narrative before you address the talent. A lot of critics and casual fans profile him as a back foot fighter or a runner who refuses to engage. But when you actually watch the tape, that's a lazy analysis. This narrative reached a fever pitch after his lackluster performance against Edwin de los Santos, a fight in which Shakur later revealed he was severely hampered by a hand injury, restricting his offensive output and forcing him to rely almost entirely on his defense. The reality of Stevenson's style is that he is usually standing right in front of his opponent, fully engaging in the mid-range. His absolute masterclasses against established champions like Oscar Valdez and Jamel Herring, where he systematically broke them down, often fighting on the inside and in the pocket, prove this. Even against a relentless pressure fighter like William Zepeda, Shakur stood his ground, dealt with Zepeda's high-volume aggression by slipping and countering, and won a clear decision by bossing the exchanges. His defense isn't built on distance alone. It's built on elite range management and micro movements. He stays in the pocket, often inches from danger, and uses subtle slips, parries, and half steps to make punches miss by a fraction of an inch. He operates in the eye of the storm. The universal opinion is that his ceiling is limitless, but this fight is about proving that his style, often misunderstood as passive, is actually the most aggressive form of control in the sport. Teofimo Lopez, 22-1, 13 KOs, is the wild card. He's coming off a fantastic performance against Arnold Barboza Jr., where he looked sharp, explosive, and dialed in. That version of Teofimo is a nightmare for anyone. However, we can't ignore the history. Teo has often struggled against longer, rangier fighters who refuse to engage on his terms. Look at the Jermaine Ortiz fight. He looked frustrated and flat when he had to chase a moving target. Teofimo does his best work against fighters who are willing to sit a bit closer, guys who try to impose their will, because that allows him to use his freakish athletic reflexes to counter. He wants you to be there so he can hit you. The question is always, which Teofimo shows up? The laser-focused champion who dismantled Josh Taylor, or the frustrated headhunter we saw against Ortiz? The analytical matchup. The trap in the pocket. The fundamental contest here is about the type of defense Shakur employs. If Teofimo were fighting someone like Devin Haney, a pure jab-and-move stylist who circles the ring and picks off singular shots, Teo would likely struggle. That track meet style frustrates him because he can't set his feet. But Shakur is different. Shakur doesn't circle the ring endlessly. He sits in front of his opponent. On paper, this favors Teofimo. He prefers a target that is right in front of him, within range of his explosive power. But that is the trap. Shakur is right in front of you, but he's a ghost. He baits you into throwing at a target that evaporates the moment you commit. The prediction. This fight comes down to sharpness. Because Shakur sits in that mid-range pocket, he is technically within the blast radius of Teofimo's power. If Shakur is off his game by even 5%, if those micro movements are a split second slow, Teofimo is the exact wrong guy to be standing in front of. However, if Shakur is sharp, this becomes a masterclass. He will stand in the danger zone, make Teofimo miss wild, looping shots, and punish him with straight lefts down the pipe. Teofimo will swing at air, expecting a fight, but finding only frustration. The verdict: Shakur is too disciplined to get caught. He utilizes those micro movements to stay safe while standing his ground, frustrating Teofimo into making mistakes. Stevenson wins a clear, high-level, unanimous decision, proving that you don't have to run to be unhittable.